Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you're having a good one. What's good? So, little bit of housekeeping. I got a message on one of the videos last night, and the person was like, "Your channel lacks depth," and then went on to try to give me depth on a particular topic. Now, I could have sworn we started this community so that we could bring things to each other's attention, and then for all of us to go do our own research. Clearly, that person didn't get the message, get the memo. Sad. At first, I looked at it and I was kind of like, well, they're coming with some, with their own research, and okay, cool. But the way they did it, the tone, I was like, I wouldn't want to hear somebody talking to somebody else like that. Like belittling them like a child. And I'm like, and then I was looking at it, and then they did it again in another post. And I was like, yeah, no, click. I can't deal with that. I cannot deal with that. I think it's a bad idea to go after other people just because you have different views. I think it's a bad idea to criticize somebody that's doing something that you're incapable of doing. Because if you were capable of doing that, then you could create your own show. You could do all of your own production. You could do all of your own research. You could do all the videos. You could do everything and then have the format that you want. I have nothing against that. I know people out there that choose one topic and take a deep dive. For me, there's just too much. So I'm trying to get out there as much as I can, right? And then each of us will go do our own research. And if we find something new, come back and share it with the community. That's the whole idea. So, sir, if you have a problem, create your own show. I'm probably sure that a lot of people would go look at it because you're going to go through such lengths to go more in depth on specific topics, and you'll start to realize that there are only 60 minutes in an hour, there are only 30 minutes in a half hour, so on and so forth. It's not as easy as it looks. It's not as easy as it looks. It really isn't. But then, oh yeah, hey, I have to write a note to you guys. Don't forget to invest in yourselves today. It'd be nice if I knew how to spell. There you go. So what do we have going on this morning? We've got BlackRock just reported their numbers. I actually had to write it down. BlackRock reported their numbers. Their revenue is up 13%. Their assets under management up 18% to $12.5 trillion assets under management. I said before that I was expecting spectacular numbers from BlackRock, and that's exactly what we got. Then I've been paying attention to what Vanguard is doing. And I hear people talking about how Vanguard is changing its stance and everything else. I don't think Vanguard has changed its stance on crypto, okay? I think what Vanguard has said is we're not going to directly purchase crypto. But that does not mean that they're not going to directly invest in other companies that possess crypto. So they are now an 8% shareholder of Strategy. And others that deal in crypto, but an 8% shareholder of Strategy. They also hold a nice, healthy amount of BlackRock shares. That's the example I was giving before. So yeah, I mean, Vanguard. I think Vanguard's stance is we're not going to offer directly any crypto vehicles in our offerings, in our business model. But with regard to investment, we have no problem investing in, companies that are involved in crypto. There's the difference. So I'm sitting back and I'm kind of going, yeah, I'm not upset about that. They want to remain a pure play. No problem with that. Some people want a pure play, kind of like some people want to go in depth on specific topics. No problem with that. And then there are other companies that do things differently. See how the world goes around? See that? Yeah. So then we have MasterCard highlights regulatory hurdles for standardization challenges for stablecoins. Why is that? Well, the rules and regulations by which they have to abide, right? So you have the Genius Act, not done yet. You have the Stable Act, not done yet. You have infighting over both bills, And again, I think the infighting stems from most of them not knowing what crypto really is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think any one of them have actually taken a deep dive into crypto, trying to figure it all out. Did you just call me a horse? My sound is going in it. I'm actually watching it right now. You sure it's not you? Thank you for letting me know. I've been watching it because I had a problem last night when I was talking to my mom. Yeah, but I can see my levels right now, so I don't know if it's you or if it's me. Like, everything seems to be streaming well. Sorry you're having a problem with my sound. You know what? I could check to make sure. No, it's using the right microphone. Yeah, maybe I hate to say it, but maybe it is just you this time. Back to MasterCard. Now, like I said, there's a battle going on just between the two bills, and then even within the bills, there are issues. And Maxine Waters is like, yeah, I told you so. There are issues. You haven't given it enough thought. I think there are I think everybody, not everybody, but I think there are a lot of politicians that we feel are against crypto. And I don't know that they're against crypto as much as they're against people that want to make moves around crypto that haven't done their homework. I think that's the problem. And I'm sitting back and I'm going, yeah, I don't want people making laws about crypto that don't understand crypto. That's like the dumbest thing. That's how you get into trouble. Because that means they're being led through the nose by their staff. Oh, is that really what you feel, Frank? Okay, then I feel the same way. Jane, is that really what you think? Okay, Jane, I feel the same way. I mean, I'm thinking that a lot of these people they're not as astute as they could be about the topic. And I think they should all, go take a class, go read a book, do more than just repeat and regurgitate what you heard or what other people are doing. I think you need to go research this, because we're not talking about, oh, I want to go buy a couple of coins of this. I want to buy a couple of coins of that. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about laying out the risk framework and the rules of which everybody has to abide by. That's what we're talking about. And yeah, I'm going to have a little bit of a problem with that. A little bit. And that's what we're seeing pop up. Meanwhile, Coins PH, Coins, Philippines that's what PH is for, and Hashkey Group launch a 24/7 remittance corridor between the Philippines and Hong Kong, aiming to streamline cross-border transactions. Why do I bring that to you? Because you're talking about a region, that whole region beginning to blossom. That's why. It's not as small as you think. It's big. That's a very big deal. It's probably bigger than what people think. It's not, I love how different countries think that they're going to rule crypto. No, that's not what's going to happen. It's not what's going to happen. And there are burgeoning regions, just like in the financial markets. There are certain areas of the world that are just financial hubs. And the same thing is happening in crypto. And this is what we're talking about. Philippines, Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand. I mean, you have just South Korea. You just have a lot of Japan. You just have a lot of countries in a particular region that are starting to talk and get along and do things. And trade is going to change. Trade is absolutely going to change. The idea of exacting tariffs against countries, it's going to be harder when the financials move from traditional finance to future finance. It's going to be more difficult to do that. So yeah, we're going to have to be paying attention to things that are going to directly affect our bags, and what happens around the world affects around the world. Just saying. China anticipates a sluggish economic growth in Q2 due to ongoing U.S.-China trade tensions, but they're figuring it out. Like, we hit Brazil. What did Brazil do? Brazil said, okay, United States, you don't want our coffee, as an example? We're going to go over to China and cut a deal. And they did. Everything that I see right now is the United States isolating itself again, from the rest of the world, even from our neighbors, Canada and Mexico. Seriously? I don't think that's a good move monetarily. Remember, the new regime has done a lot of work and has a lot of experience in bankrupting companies. So I just want you to pay attention to all of the moves that are going on, all of the smoke screen that's going on, and how does all of that affect your bags? Like I said, I operate with a risk framework. I'm measuring my risks, and I'm also measuring what possible positives could happen. Something that troubles me is all this yap about how they're going to get rid of Powell, or how there's so much pressure on him to step down. No, the only people talking about that are people that are coming out of the new regime. There's nobody else talking about that. Everybody else is saying, wow, look at the kind of job this guy did. Yeah, he messed up back then, but look what he's doing now. He's orchestrated something really big here. That's really awesome. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. I can't bring you all the news. I can only bring you the news that catches my eye. I can only offer you opinion on the news that captures my eye. And then hopefully you're doing your own research and you're noting things that catch your eye. And you're taking all of it and using it to manage your bags. What else do we have? We've got Hungary imposing a 2-year prison sentence for anybody operating an illegal exchange. Yeah, it's like mandatory. They're like, yeah, no, we're not playing games here. We don't have time for games here. Kind of liking that. And there was another exchange, Abacus, a dark web exchange called Abacus, that shut down. And they're thinking that it was a scam. Shock. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with all of that. Then we've got Binance enforcing an 18% tax on Indian traders. Why? Because that's what India wants. And I'm just wondering, so Bybit is actually a centralized exchange, right? Yeah. Number 2. So Bybit enforces this. Binance is probably enforcing the same thing. Other exchanges will have to enforce the same thing because they have to, if they want to do business in a given country, they have to abide by that country's rules of the road. Not a problem with that. But how about all those people that onboard their money and don't use a centralized exchange? How are you going to collect those taxes? You have no idea. You have no clue. Once they onboard their money, they've already paid tax on that money. Once that money leaves that point of onboarding and it leaves, you have no way of tracking that. It's done. It's dusted. Bye-bye. So you could onboard to an exchange, use a decentralized exchange to handle a transaction, and at the tail end of that transaction, have it pushed to a non-custodial wallet. Yeah, interesting, no? Again, I go back to, I think countries are looking at each other and what they're doing and saying to themselves, how do we police this? How do we police this? And they go, great, we know how to police that. Okay, cool, we can do this. And we move on from there. Right? We move on, we look at what everybody else is doing, we see how that could work in our country, and blah, 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 blah. And eventually we come up with, here's a regulatory framework for crypto. In that regard, you can kind of say certain countries are ahead, certain countries are behind, but nobody's done yet. That's the point. So being ahead, being behind doesn't matter. Nobody's done yet. And there's the point, right? There's the point. Binance introduces a Pum.Fund style token launch model enabling community-driven projects through decentralized fundraising mechanisms. No shock there. But I think the way these other companies are opening up their launch pads is different than how Pump.Fund opened up theirs. Why? Because they're saying, yeah, we kind of want some rules of the road. We kind of want some guardrails. We kind of want some parameters of operation. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of Binance's platform. Binance and others, by the way. Okay, here's some big news. New York Stock Exchange, ARCA, approves ProShares Ultra XRP ETF. And apparently a Solana token listing, expanding institutional access to crypto-related investment products. Shock. The SEC has acknowledged that they have indeed done that. I guess everything ticks on from there. We'll see how that rocks. JP Morgan Chase adopts a bearish stance on Tesla, Rivian, Snapchat, and the reason why I bring up this article, Circle. They're taking a bearish stance on Circle. So if you're buying crypto stocks, you might want to do some research on that. Just putting it out there for you. Just putting it out there for you. Now, the reason why they're bearish is because I've mentioned this before. Circle was the first crypto stock to come out in a long time. True crypto stock, like they're actually doing something in crypto and not just tossing money at Bitcoin or some other project. And because of that status, there was a ridiculous amount of FOMO. Now, I told you last week that, somebody from JP Morgan was like, listen, we think they're going to drop like hard. And when I looked at the numbers, I thought it was like a 90% drop or something like that. But it was some ridiculous drop. And now here they are reiterating it, making it official. Yes, we're looking bearish at Circle right now. And then you kind of have to look at Circle's business model and who makes the most money off of Circle. Just saying. Standard Chartered rolls out a Bitcoin and Ether trading. Rolls out Bitcoin and Ether trading for institutional clients and expanding their services. Standard Chartered has been in the crypto space for a long time, making moves. Just go back to your notes. Standard Chartered's been doing a lot of different things. Remember what I said about infrastructure? You need crypto infrastructure to grow, to support everything that's coming, everything that's here and everything that's coming. Crypto's going to be a very big deal, So pay attention to that. Australia's Project Acacia, I don't know how to pronounce that word, advances to the next stage of testing, focusing on blockchain-based solutions for financial inclusion and cross-border payments. Every country out there is starting to look at cross-border settlements, cross-border payments, cross-border remittances. Again, infrastructure is a very big deal when it comes to the crypto space. A very big deal. Just hoping everybody's kind of paying attention to it. It's just an idea, right? Apparently, we should go over the numbers. Let me move over to that because there's big news right now about JP Morgan. Apparently, JP Morgan came out with crushing numbers. Apparently, they crushed it. Stronger than expected trading. Here you go. Stronger than expected trading, investment banking. Investment banking is a big space. IB is a very big space. So that's going to be a big deal. Dow futures, flat. S&P, flat. NASDAQ futures, up 146. Oil, down 0.43. US 10-year, down 0.01. I think today is going to be a good day. Other earnings calls. We've just got JP Morgan. We got BlackRock earlier. We're still looking at Wells Fargo, Citigroup, the Bank of New York Mellon. Remember, they just cut that deal with, I had it last week. Was it Coinbase? I think it was Coinbase last week, but you could look that up. You can check out my previous videos and check that out. State Street is coming out. Omnicom Group, JB Hunt, Albertsons, Pinnacle, Hancock. You have a lot of big companies coming out with numbers, but everybody's going to be keyed in on the banking sector. What else do we have? News today. We've got CPI numbers coming out today. That's going to be someplace where a lot of people are going to be listening and paying attention to. You've got a lot of Fed speak. Pay attention to that because remember what I said, there's a lot of conversation going on about, shadow Fed. There's no such freaking thing, okay? They can't make any rules. They can't do anything. There is no shadow Fed. The most you can have is a person that's been identified to be the next Fed chair. That's all you could have. And if it's a yes man, there's going to be a problem and an uproar between everybody that's currently serving the Fed. Because you can't just do what the president tells you to do. Again, the man does not know how to manage money. And you could say, oh, well, he's worth billions. Check the number of times he's gone broke. Check the number of times he's not paid people, not paid other businesses. I'm not speaking, fiction. I'm speaking fact. Go look that up. Can't run a country like that. We cannot run a country like that. I'm still looking for a plan to get rid of now what is touted to be $38 trillion in debt. Just asking for a friend. Crypto fear and greed, 74 yesterday, 73 today. DeFi Llama, we were at 138 yesterday, and we're at 134 now. 138, 135, I forget. 135. And we're at $134.4 billion total value locked. We are at 117. Let me put this in the middle for you. Look at that huge drop. Huge drop. Why did that happen? Apparently, there's an ancient wallet out there that just started moving Bitcoin and moving it to where? Centralized exchanges, which means starting to sell. So that news hit the market and you had a steep decline. If you're paying attention, this might be, look at the distance between what's the high at 123,000 basically, $92 versus now where it's at 117. You could make a couple of bucks right there, right? It's like a 5% move. You can get in on a 5% move. Plus that, along with people taking money out, people realizing some profits, wetting their beaks, taking a breather. People will get back in. Trust me, people will get back in, and we're going to shoot up, and we'll shoot past 123. That's my best bet. That's my best bet. I'm looking at it. I'm looking easily at 130. I'm looking comfortably at 130. So you see all this red? Yeah, there's a lot of red in here that I'd be like, oh, I'm all about it. Doge came down hard. Shiba Inu came down hard. Link came down softly. Ondo came down hard. Who else? So I'm just looking at it. Not BCH came down hard. I'm looking at this and I'm just saying there's a lot of opportunity. Sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. DCA. Dollar cost averaging will help you in this situation. Just saying, just putting that out there for you. You also have Bitcoin. If you're looking at it, yeah, the distance between Bitcoin and Ethereum has tightened. Have you been paying attention? Just last week, it was like a 41 point difference between Ethereum and Bitcoin. And now there's only a 36 point difference between the two. Are you not paying attention to that year to date for Ethereum approaching non-red status, down 10% right now. XRP up 40%, doing better than Bitcoin. Just saying, this is why I look at these charts. This is why I do this. This is why I do it. Hyperliquid, regaining a lot of momentum. So just paying attention to things and paying attention to what it can do and how it can get there. Then I take a look at this and I just go, let's take a look at the losers. Memcore, top of the loser list. It's been falling precipitously for the past couple of days. You go down this list. Dog. Somebody was coming at me with Dog saying, "Oh, it's running on Bitcoin," and I was like, "Yeah, it's gonna tank." And here it is. I have no faith in Dog whatsoever. 12.2 down 12.27. GMB X factor of 1.45. Can it make that 1.45? It's possible. It's not something I follow, but I know people that follow it, so I'm calling it out. You've got Brett down 11.94%, GMB X factor of 3.50. Yes, I'd be all about that. Virtuals Protocol down 11.12% with a GMB X factor of 2.15. I think Virtuals is going to do doggone well. Fartcoin down 9.6%, GMB X factor of 1. Yes, I think it'll do it. Who else? Doge down 7.26% with a GMB factor of 2.81. Possible. XDC down 7.16. Yeah, everybody's talking about, XDC, ISO 222. Yeah, whatever. I'm not seeing usage. I'm not seeing a lot of usage out of it. There's potential, but there have been plenty of things out there that have had potential, but nothing's happened. Got to realize the potential. So it's at 7.16%. With a GMB X factor of 1.58, it's possible that it could hit it. Dogecoin could hit it. You've got Decentraland down 7% with a GMB X factor of 18.25. Doubtful it'll hit. Very doubtful. But can you make money from it? Yes, because gaming is making a comeback. ZK Sync down 7%. GMB X factor 4.99. Not something I follow, but I know other people are. Yeah, I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. Who's up today? Pudgy Penguins is up again, 9.7% with a GMB X factor of 1.21. It's going to blow through that 1.21, I'm sure of it. Bonk is up 6.32% with a GMB X factor of 1.06. Bonk will blow through that. Let's see, 1 inch, something I know people are paying attention to. 6% up today, GMB X factor of 24.49. No, it will not. Can you make money from it still? I believe so. But do your own research. Know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Just saying, got to do it yourself. Who else is out here that I'm paying attention to? Pump.fun, the pump coin, came out. It's up 2.58%. Obviously, it's brand new. It's got a GMB X factor of 0.09. It hasn't settled yet, so my GMB X factor for that brand new coin, I'm not going to pay attention to it. But I normally have a 5% rule anyway, so that's all there is. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do, smash the likes. I don't mind useful criticism. I don't mind helpful criticism. I don't mind that at all. Right? I do mind how people speak with each other. And if you're rude and disrespectful, I don't have time for that. I don't think any of us have time for that. But if it's going to be helpful and useful criticism, that's cool. That's very cool. And it shows that you're taking the time and you have the patience to want to help somebody get better. But trying to give them a backhanded compliment by putting them down, that's not cool. Anyway, everybody, thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And as always, thank you for your trust. I'm not perfect. I am pleasantly imperfect. But together, we can get a lot of things done. Everybody have a great day. I'll see you tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Crypto Overflow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.